Welcome to another exciting episode of the IsaacBoyz podcast. Dwayne the Ghost, alongside Terrorizing, alongside our new, I shouldn't say new, but a good friend of ours. Someone that we've mentioned before on the podcast, and he was a part of the infamous missing episode. Go ahead and introduce yourself, my friend, Mr. Mills.
All right. Thank you, Dwayne. For those that don't know me, my name is Kali Mills. I was born in Puerto Rico, but I was raised here in St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands.
Mm-hmm.
Currently 18 years old. I'm also a fellow gamer and anime viewer, and also a student musician,
There you go.
as I've actually mentioned before to you guys.
In the last episode,
In the last episode.
which we're gonna cover here again today.
Yeah, that was episode 90.
No,
No,
was
it
after
was like
100.
Oh, yeah,
it was 101. It was supposed to be
101.
101.
Right.
You're correct.
It was after our.
Yes.
It was after-
It's now episode 102,
Mm-hmm.
which we are currently on. But yeah, the infamous missing episode that we had a great time recording. Unfortunately, like we said, we kind of changed our setup for that particular podcast, and it backfired on us a little bit,
Yep.
unfortunately. But all things ironed out, barring any no errors or anything.
All things seem to be audio-wise seem to be solid. I know last week there was a weird sound that popped in, but
A weird buzzing that came in randomly.
Right.
bar that, we were perfect,
We're good. We're good to go. So.
as best we've ever sounded. So
But yeah, thank you guys for continuing to rocking with us. We are coming off of yet another good week here at the lounge.
solid week at the lounge.
We had quite a bit of new foot traffic.
A lot of new people.
A lot of new people coming through this week.
A surprising amount of new people, and I know it sometimes it's not like it's like a broken record every week. We're talking about how well the lounge is doing, but
It continues to prove
it
itself.
continues to prove itself, and it looks like we know what we're doing here. So
Seems
Yep.
that way.
um,
We did. I mean, we'll probably get into it a little bit later, but we kind of developed somewhat of another watch party with
Yeah.
with boxing.
yeah, mhm.
Because we know we usually do the UFC stuff, the UFC watch parties. We cover that in Fight Talk, but it looked like we had another little group, a complete group of completely new people
Mhm.
came to watch a boxing fight, and it was a lot of fun. But we'll probably get into that a little bit later with the boxing results. But yeah, outside of that, another good week, and there was some new releases, and some new news that dropped this week.
Gaming news, yeah.
PlayStation had their State of Play event.
Mhm. So
Right.
we're definitely gonna cover some of that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Since we have a guest on, we're gonna make sure he gets all his
Of course.
airtime first. So, Mr. Mills, tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. So I'll cover the musician part of
Yeah.
myself.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. I started music when I was 11 years old, and I'm mainly focusing on becoming a percussionist, and also potentially also a teacher of that field as well. Being a percussionist actually kind of grew on me when I got into my high school years.
Okay.
I think what really got me into it was the role that it plays within the band.
Mm-hmm.
Even like referring to a game, like I love a lot of team games. So having your specific role definitely means a lot. Everyone counts.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely I see that same thing happening in a band type of setting. So I loved the idea of just percussion, being there, keeping the time,
Mhm.
being consistent in the rhythmic patterns.
Mm-hmm.
It's just great.
So let me ask you. So are you currently in a band, or are you currently the drummer for a band, or?
I'm not actually a drummer for a band,
Mhm.
but I have had some thoughts on it. I'm just currently studying here at UVA, and
Mhm.
also I'm even learning from my percussionist at the church.
Mhm.
He's been showing me some stuff, giving me valuable lessons too on time. So I kind of want to just soak up all of that information before
Mhm.
I just head on out, play with more people.
I hear you. One thing a lot of people don't realize is there's a lot of really good drummers in churches.
Mm-hmm. A lot of them grew up in church.
Exactly.
I my professor, he wanted me to research a lot of drummers that he actually met before, like even
Mm.
before they passed. Some of them to name are like Art Blakey, Max Roach, Buddy Rich. There was some great drummers, and I as I'm reading through their biographies and whatnot, it's like, wait a minute, all of them seem like they came from church. Like they just all grew up in the church, and now they're just like some great, amazing drummer. It's like, I think I gotta do that too.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I mean, even growing up, going to church, you know, that was always one of my favorite parts of churches, you know, the drums there, because, and I guess it's a Caribbean thing, because it's not so much, maybe not so much stateside, but definitely in Caribbean churches, you know, it's a little more rhythmic, and the drums definitely play a big part of that, and it's you know,
you can make the difference between, you know, the Catholic church type setting where it's all, you know, opera type music and hymns and stuff like that, versus, you know, party, having a good time, praising the Lord.
Lively church, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So you say you're currently at UVI. What year are you in?
I'm a part of the class of 2025.
Okay.
So yeah, around
Yeah, I
there.
got a couple
And,
more. Yeah.
Yeah, I finished my freshman year. So it was great. Yeah, I just want to learn as much as I can, really.
I'm sure. Are you staying on campus or are you?
No. The first year that just passed, I didn't stay on campus at all. But I have thought about
Moving on.
maybe moving on to staying on campus.
It's a different experience, I'm sure.
It has its benefits and its, you know, distractions as well.
Right. I feel like for me, I get a little too comfortable at home. Or sometimes I do find my distractions at home. So it'll be a nice change of pace to actually
be off on your
be
own.
off on my own and
kind of,
experience that college life. So yeah. But it still feels weird because like I still actually live here.
Yeah.
True. It is a weird experience because personally I did that. That's what I did when I went to UVI. I stayed on campus even though, you know, family lives here. You know, it was just to get that college experience. You know, being away but not really away.
Yeah.
So it's like you're far enough to make your own decisions, but you know if you mess up, you don't have far to fall. You know what I mean? You can.
Right, your family's right there.
Family's
one
right
call
there.
away.
Exactly, as opposed to being, you know, an airplane ride away. So.
Yep. True.
So it's, you know, one of the beautiful things about being in the Virgin Islands. You know, one thing I think a lot of people don't really take advantage of UVI. They think, you know, it's better to go off to different colleges, and don't get me wrong, going off to stateside does have its benefits, but I think UVI has its benefits too, and people need to take advantage of that.
Yeah, nothing's wrong with starting from home, in my opinion.
100%. And it's an accredited college, so you can take your credits elsewhere if you find something that, you know, suits your field better. You know.
Definitely.
So with all the UVI education, what do you plan to do with it? You plan to go into education?
Yeah.
Right. I do want to do some type of education, some form of teaching. Reason being is because I want to be able to be like a role model for someone. I want to be able to inspire young students, young kids that, you know, life can be short, and
life is
it's
very
great
short,
to
my friend.
it's great to find things that'll make you want to, you know, make life enjoyable.
Yeah, make it worth it, right?
Yeah.
You're only here for a short time, so it's...
Might as well make it a good time.
Right. So the thing is with me, like, I never wanted to do music. It wasn't ever an interest that I personally wanted to do. My mom and father got me to do it. So how the story went really was, it was back around 2015. It was summer. And you know, I'm a gamer. Gaming is my first love. So I was just at home playing games all day, all night. My mom was like, "No, I think it's time you gotta like get out of the house a little bit." And I was like, "I don't want to do this." But father said the same thing. So he said, "You got two options. It's either you go to Camp Wesleyan or you're gonna start off at G Cliff at the music summer camp." I've actually been to Camp Wesleyan before. I've been there twice already. So if I went that time, it would have been my third time.
Okay.
But then I said I'm gonna change it up and go to the music one, and it actually was very close to where I live, so I could have walked there and then walked back home.
Okay.
So it was very convenient. You know, at first I didn't really like it, but I took it. I said, you know what, I'm gonna change my mindset about this.
Yeah, apply yourself a little bit.
about like going into the third week, I started taking it serious, and everything started to make sense.
Mm.
So then at the end of the recital, which is what they have at the end of the camps, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna try to continue learning music, and I want to use this to eventually help other kids. And it doesn't even have to be with music too. It could be even things like gaming. Like if you don't like games like that, you know, maybe you could find an interest in gaming, or maybe
You can
different types of genres and shows, or
there's
something.
There's a lot of inspiration everywhere. Like one thing, and you can probably attest to this here. I've found that anime is some of the best storytelling out there right now. A lot of people, I mean, you know, a lot of people probably wouldn't like. They hear me say that and they're like, okay, whatever, you know, he likes anime, so he'll say that kind of thing. But take it from someone that, you know, watches just about everything nerd culture, you know, all the Marvel movies, you know, whatever great show there is out there on, you know, whatever streaming platform.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to storytelling, it's hard to beat a good solid anime series. And I mean, I say that because I just recently picked up another one that's just blowing my mind right now. And it's just like it's just something like, and it's funny, like every time I finish an anime, I always want to start another one because I know there's so many anime out there, starting from like old ones to new ones, and there's so many gems out there. They're not all hits, but there's some gems out there. I just like researching and finding those good gems. So not to switch the conversation a little bit, but definitely, you know, as you were talking about inspiration, you know, that's one place that I find a lot of inspiration is in watching anime. What do you think about anime and finding inspiration?
On anime and finding inspiration, I kind of get where you're coming from, especially when there's shows like the faces of anime, I like to call it, like, you know, Naruto and Dragon Ball.
Your Naruto, your Dragon Ball,
your regular mainstream. You know, they always have this motto of never giving up. Having that willpower to keep going. So there's definitely some inspiration there, I feel like.
For sure.
100%.
Yeah.
Most definitely. And we talk about faces of anime. Like, as far as anime is concerned, what do you think? Who's your Mount Rushmore? If you had to pick 5 anime/anime characters, what would be like greatest of all time type situation? Well,
that's a good question.
It is. I mean, definitely Naruto is gonna be up there because it's my number one favorite. It's my first, and it's my forever will be there. I would also like to say Deku, actually, because you know I've told you guys I recently began My Hero and kind of caught up.
My Hero is great.
Yeah, My Hero had a lot of moments that made me wanted to tear up because
100%.
He really wanted to be there. He wanted to be a hero. He wanted to show what he can do, but he just didn't have it.
He just didn't have it physically, you know. As you know, he wasn't born with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's one thing about that anime that I really like is that, you know, even though you're not, you know, you could look at somebody else and see that they're born with all these physical gifts. They're like the star athlete, you know, born with all this genetics, you know. Sometimes you can't beat hard work. Sometimes you can't beat, you know, hustle. You know what I mean?
And another character that fits that description is Asta from Black Clover. You know, he wasn't born technically with magic, but he worked. He made sure that he was doing things.
He knew, okay, I couldn't do this, so physically let me be the best.
Right. Now he's just very buff. Man.
And it worked out for him.
It did. So that's like 3 characters. I guess if I was to pick 2 more, honestly, I wanted to say Gohan because Gohan had some type of for when I was growing up, he was one of those characters that really like I looked up to for real. I guess it's because to me, it seemed like he was just he seemed like that kid that just wanted to make sure that whatever his father asked of him, he did it, and he did it to make him proud. So I've always wanted to be like one of those type of
individuals.
I want to make sure that my family's always proud of me and whatever I do, and just continue doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then the last
Last one.
character. Alright, this is gonna be a hard one. And the thing is, I'm trying to think of other animes too.
The thing is, to do a Mount Rushmore, you'd have to watch a whole lot of anime.
Yeah, like
Because you could like, and the thing is, everybody's Mount Rushmore is gonna be different. Like your Mount Rushmore isn't
it's
the Mount Rushmore of like of everybody's Mount Rushmore, because it's to your taste and it's to what you've seen. It's impossible to watch every anime. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's gonna be to
It's
what
very
you've seen
different,
already.
We still got one more character.
But you still have one more. Character.
I want to say I guess being one of the newest, Tanjiro. Just for now, we would
Yeah.
say Tanjiro.
And that's not bad, because Tanjiro's a good one.
Yeah. That willpower of his is crazy.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and it's what I like about the Demon Slayer storyline is the sibling love. It's one of those animes that showcases sibling love in a way that I don't think a lot of stories don't really dive into that. Mostly it's always
Like a romantic.
it's always a romantic love, or love for mother and child, or child and parent. They never really go into a lot of sibling love, and I think that anime really dives really deep into that, like ridiculously deep on a level that I don't think I've ever seen.
I think I'll just say one more character as an honorable mention.
Mm.
I'll say maybe Zeldris from Seven Deadly Sins.
Okay, I've seen the which I haven't finished season 1, so I'm not sure exactly who you're talking about. Is he in season 1?
No.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
But okay, that's not bad. I mean, for me, actually, now that my mind is thinking about sibling love, I'll start off with anime I just recently watched, which I definitely put it in my Mount Rushmore, is Code Geass. What's his name? Lelouch. He is such a, like, when it comes to sibling love, like the whole story is based on that. That's another story that's based on that, where he had like so much love for his sister, like he wanted to change the world for her, pretty much. That was his whole thing, you know what I mean? And it's really, really good anime in terms of high stakes, things being put in uncomfortable situations and figuring your way out of it. I think Code Geass, Lelouch, definitely, I'm putting him on my Mount Rushmore. And the thing is, a friend of mine has been telling me about Code Geass forever, since like since I used to work in FYE, which is like way back when, in the early 2000s, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And he's been telling me about it since then, and it's only now I'm
Getting
the time to watch it and saying, oh yeah, he was absolutely spot on with that one. I definitely put him on there. I also like Death Note, so Light's gonna be on my Mount Rushmore as well, because the Lelouch and Light, they're very similar, very smart tacticians. So I'll put those two on there. Can't see what kind of animes I like based off of those two. I definitely want to put My Hero as well. My Hero is definitely a great anime. But instead of putting Deku, which Deku does deserve to be on there, I'll probably put All Might. All Might's a pretty dope character to me. I have to put All Might on there. He's like watching My Hero for the first time and seeing All Might and what he was capable of, and his whole arc was just amazing.
Yeah, and imagine like the show started off when he was kind of basically weakened.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So imagine if we saw him 5 years ago.
Exactly, when he was in his full strength. So
yeah,
definitely I put him on there. So that's 3. Mount Rushmore. That's a tough one. I maybe add one more, because it's like I still have so much anime to watch, so I can't really say, okay, these are the best and nothing else is better. But I mean, if you're gonna go into Dragon Ball, I mean, I'll put Goku up there. He's the face. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't watch anime, but they watch Dragon Ball, so that says it right there. You know what I mean? He has to be on the Mount Rushmore without question. And
Goku solos.
Yeah, and I guess I would put, I would go the Demon Slayer route too, but I'll put Nezuko. On there. because I really liked her character. I like she was the first person in that show that made me laugh, which and it wasn't even a funny scene. It was just something that happened that was stupid, but it was like that's hilarious to me. When she kicked that demon's head off the first time,
Oh,
I was cracking up.
Yeah.
That had me rolling for some reason. I don't know why, but yeah, I like Nezuko because again, she fights against her what her natural instinct is to do. You know what I mean? She fights that all the time. I mean, she had help with the hypnotizing and all that stuff, but she has natural impulses that she wants to do, but she goes against it. Again, sibling love and all that good stuff. So those would be mine. I don't know if you can put one together. I mean, we're all having a hard time putting one together.
Yeah, but I mean, I'll give it a go, I guess.
Okay.
I would agree with you with Goku.
Mm-hmm.
I like Goku. Obviously, he's the face. He's the one that shoulders the bulk of the show. I mean, granted, a lot of it is probably poor writing, but it's the fact that it doesn't matter what happened. Like everyone can always count on him, kind of a thing. So
yeah,
I like that about him. That he's
all reliable.
He's all reliable. He's a safety net for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Although I don't agree that his parents has been dead forever and he never brought any of them back. But he has Dragon Balls to wish him back. Never decided to do so. But whatever. Next on that list, I would put Eren Yeager.
How could I forget Mr. Yeager?
I would put Eren Yeager on there because
shame on me. Shame on me.
Because you can tell like how he was brought up and how everything that he went through. Like he's generally a good guy, and he just wants everyone to be good. He wants everything to go smoothly, but currently it's haven't been going well. So it's showing the turn in him a little bit that right now I think he is what the world has made him, and it just unfortunately shows the dark side of things where we want everything to be sunshine and rainbows, but it can't always be that, unfortunately. That there's people out there that for whatever reason are just gonna hate you, whether it's your race or the color of your skin or whatever it is, and he unfortunately for them, he got put in a position where
it's them or him.
It's them or him, and he's choosing
him.
There you go. So
yeah, I could definitely see inspiration. From
I can relate to that.
I think for sure, like he's one of those characters that like I could tell like he's just telling me like just be yourself.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yep. I liked Goblin Slayer as well. What I like about him, of course, that that's another thing about being yourself too. Like he's not trying to be the best hero. He's not trying to be out there trying to be like all the other adventurers and rank up and all that. He just has one goal. That's to kill goblins. That's his only goal, and like just the simplicity of that and just having that kind of clarity in life, I think is golden. It's something that I envy because there's so many things that I want to do, whatever, but just to boil down your entire existence to one goal, it's a very hard thing to do. It's a hard thing to do. Man. So if you can do it, you and all your energy can go towards that one goal, then nothing can stop you.
Yep.
So, I like that about Goblin Slayer. How many was that? That was 3?
That's 3. So 2 more.
You're actually surprised me with your list. Your list is pretty good, actually.
I liked Endeavor as well. Endeavor. I like Endeavor because he was the way he is the way he is, and he's kind of strict, early on as a parent, and he's made mistakes, but he's not too big to admit that he made mistakes, and he's now trying to rectify those, and he's juggling all that on top of being, to me the best hero,
number one hero. Yeah.
He is the number one hero, pretty much.
Natural number one.
Natural, exactly, number one hero. So
gotta give him the respect.
Yeah, and he's a bit of a stoic character as well, and I kind of like stoic characters like him and Vegeta. I like this kind of characters as well, but I like Endeavor.
Yeah, man.
Because he's trying to do right, and even though he's pretty strong, I know All Might gets a lot of the credit, but he's
Endeavor is definitely up there, yeah.
Endeavor is
His
definitely
list is top tier.
One more. I'm trying to do different animes. I don't want to stick to the same anime, but. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to put him up there, but I was kind of trying to leave this one for honorable mention. But I can't think of a fifth one, so I guess it's gonna have to be him. Gosh, what's his name? Guy from Fire Force, the main guy.
Ooh, yeah, Shinzu.
Yeah.
Or Shinra.
Who's it?
Is this Shinra?
Shinra.
I think it's Shinra.
Actually, I mean, I'll leave it for honorable mention, but I do like Benimaru on Fire Force, because he's again another top tier character.
Very stylish character.
And but he's he's willing to help people. He had his whole that whole town or whatever. Then like no matter what happens, he kind of runs that. So he he builds everybody back up. He's not afraid to train people and make them stronger. I like that about him. But Shinra, I like because like he's his power is somewhat basic, I guess. Well, when he started, is his feet, fire coming out of his feet, kind of a thing. But he was willing to train and get better, and now he can do some obscene,
outlandish things.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my Mount Rushmore, I guess. If I had more time, I think I'd come up with a better one for the last two.
And I'm sure there's people listening to this saying like, well, what about this character and what about this character?
Yeah, I mean, leave your Mount Rushmore in the comments.
I even have one more candidate state before we jump off.
Sure.
When you mentioned Goblin Slayer, and just him having that one strict goal of him, just doing what he needs to do, kill goblins. It kind of reminded me wanted me to think of Sasuke a little bit, because if you really think about it, he was really determined to go out his way and kill Itachi, and then after what happened, he set another goal, which was he was gonna take over the leaf and become Hokage. Well, of course, Naruto stopped him, but to me, like, Sasuke is like, as far as that's how he was, I guess, set up. Like, his mindset is crazy to me.
Very ambitious.
Yeah, very ambitious. I mean, like, he really wasn't distracted about nothing. I'm like, I need that in my life. I need to be that focused.
Yeah, we could all use a little bit of that for sure. Most definitely, but yeah, those some good picks, I would say. I mean, anime is a big part, I think, of not just video game culture, but nerd culture on a whole. Like a lot of what we do is circle around that, and we do fairly well here with the the figures and all the anime collectibles and stuff that we have here. People
are just eating that stuff up.
Yeah, man.
Even the new stuff that we brought in, some little trinkets here and there, they're
flying off.
People have been eating that stuff up.
Because there's no representation on an island for our culture, and I think that's why we want to keep growing that. Because a lot of people, like, even for me, speaking for myself, when being young, growing up, I always thought that I had to go to the States to get cool stuff, which seems to still be the case, but we want to slowly change that and
bridge that gap a little bit.
Yeah, so people that want to start representing themselves, with anime and video game culture,
giving people some way of expression.
Yeah.
That's why we're gonna have. That's why you see we have like pins and cog charms and just croc charms. Yeah. Just for expression. People want to express themselves.
Lanyards and stuff like that. Well, if we have the space, we can probably start bringing some more apparel. But apparel is always kind of tough because sizing, styles. There's so many different things that can go on with. But yeah, so it's a big part of our culture. Yeah, even I find that, ironically enough, because growing up it was mostly like like white and nerdy people that were known as that's the nerdy kid that's into anime. But I find now in our culture, like in black culture, like it's very prominent in black culture.
It's very prominent. Yeah.
Like almost every black person I know around our age group watches some anime.
Yep. Without question.
And before, like when we were younger, that wasn't necessarily the case. It was just few and far in between. But now you find that literally everyone watches at least something. So
this is true. Yeah. I mean, here at the lounge, you know, I've seen people that you'd be surprised that they even like talk about anime. I've seen guys come in here with big gold chain, hard island accent, pants below the butt, you know. Full on man. You'd see full on you'd think, okay, full on street guy, you know, whatever, and he was having the biggest conversation about One Piece and why One Piece was the best anime. He had a gold chain on that was he had a gold chain which was Luffy, a pendant with Luffy on it. You know what I mean? So I'm like, people don't realize, but you know, there's, you know, it's definitely part of our culture.
Yeah, it's one of those things that bridges all gaps, you know, all walks of life, young and old. So.
Yep.
But yeah, we definitely touched a lot on anime. Let's get into a little bit more video game stuff now.
Mm-hmm. This week, Street Fighter 6 got not announced, but they started showing more.
They started showing more gameplay. Yeah. Have you seen the trailer?
I haven't actually.
You haven't? Okay, well when we get off, I'll definitely show you.
Yeah, definitely show that. But the art style is different now.
The art style is.
It's a lot more photorealistic, I guess.
Yeah, the characters are more photorealistic, on top of being a little bit like Street Fighter 4, which had that very that ink style with, you know, splashes of ink and when you do the focus attacks over that. So it has a lot of that inspiration. But again, with the photorealisticness to it, it looks
very strange. It's a little like when I first thought, I was like, this can't be real, but apparently it is. It seems a little weird. But once you get over that initial, because it's very different from how Street Fighter is customer looking, kind of anime, kind of animated, kind of a style. That's long gone now. Everyone looks like realistic, and it's gonna have a dark tone to it. But one of the things that stood out to me in the footage they show in the trailer is that look like it's gonna have some kind of an open world
mode
to it. To where you can maybe create your own character and walk around
walk around like a Capcom inspired
town,
like hub or
the town is like a whole open world.
It's like a whole open world, so you can, I'm guessing, because they showed, you know, the character running up to another character and they started engaging in like a
training,
like
fighting,
like a fight, like, and the bars came up and everything. I was like, it's interesting. So I want more information on that, see how that's actually gonna play out, if it's gonna play out the way I think it's gonna play out, where, you know, you can just make your own character and fight other characters that people make. I think that'll be interesting. But outside of that, the full roster has leaked as far as all the characters.
Yeah.
Well, the initial batch anyway. And they look different. Everybody looks different.
Yeah, they're not wearing their typical apparel. I mean, I'm sure you might get some DLC skins later, but yeah, everybody's in different apparel.
Yeah, I mean,
no more Shoto gis on anybody.
No one's wearing a gi.
Nobody's wearing a gi.
I mean, Ryu's wearing gi pants, but
and Akuma is too. But no one is wearing full gi. I don't think.
Yeah. And apparently, a story leak that Ken, you know, his wife left him and took the kid, and he's like depressed, and like he's considered a washed up fighter in the game. A lot of characters have referred to him as that, so he's like, I guess he may end up being kind of like the Dan of the game, is what I'm hearing, which would suck that they would do that to Ken.
Yeah.
But that's what they're saying. He's like a drunk, washed up version of Ken, which that sucks. Zangief is not wearing brief anymore. He's wearing a full pants. Finally. Bird Blanca's in the game. There's a couple other characters that
they still got some of your old classics, but they just look different.
They look different. It's a lot darker tone. Do you play Street Fighter or?
I actually liked watching Street Fighter growing up. I think I liked it over Smash a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's Street Fighter. To this day, I'll still watch. You know, if I'm scrolling through YouTube and I see a decent matchup, I'll watch this for a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, because Street Fighter is. I never got into 5 as much as I wanted to, and then when we opened the lounge, 5 was a little bit on the, it started on the decline, and I jumped in and played a little bit, but Guilty Gear came out and that was that. But I definitely will be playing Street Fighter 6. Definitely looking forward to it, because finally
it's back on Xbox.
It's back on Xbox.
Oh, it wasn't?
It wasn't. It was a
Street Fighter
was a
PlayStation
after 4.
After
4 was on Xbox, 5 was a PS exclusive, and now they're back for all consoles. So,
so
that's gonna be good.
Yep.
Looking forward to
Open up the player base and the
I
More
never understood, like, especially for a fighting game, like, fighting games on a whole have a very small player base. There's no reason to make it an exclusive for any console. You're only limiting yourself,
I guess money
and
talks.
the community. But yeah, I guess money talks, you know.
If you got the money.
You know, if Sony pays to be exclusive, then that's more money. Then, you know, why not take the money?
Yep.
So yeah, definitely looking forward to Street Fighter 6 when it releases.
Should be good.
Should be a good one.
And then there was some Sonic Frontier footage that dropped. Did you get a chance to see that?
Yeah, I did.
What are your thoughts on Sonic? I don't have mine.
I honestly don't even know, to be honest.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, like,
I'm like, what am I looking at here?
that's literally all I was telling myself. Like,
I mean, I know it's early footage, but what they showed just looked like these open spaces with nothing to do in them but run. And I mean, the environments look pretty good graphic wise.
You know, realistic.
But you're
Yeah,
just
really,
Sonic just running through these open fields and stuff is like, I don't see the appeal. But I'm sure it appeals to somebody because they showed it. I guess. I mean, maybe they're trying to catch, trying to jump off the hype of the Sonic movies and come out with something that they think.
They didn't even show him attacking anything. I don't think.
I think they did.
Well, actually, no, they
get
did
into.
probably.
I think come to the end of it, but yeah, most of the time it was just big open fields and Sonic just running through them.
And it's, I mean, they give you, things to increase your momentum and keep going fast. I mean, I guess that's that's what Sonic's always been. He always, but I don't know, something about it just, I wouldn't spend a dime on that. You gotta show me more than that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, probably appeals to somebody.
To each his own.
To each his own.
But any games coming out that you're excited about, looking forward to?
I know we've mentioned the Gotham Knights, but that's later this year. I still want to show you guys the one Final Fantasy I was talking about. It was supposed to be 16.
16.
I did see it. I did see footage of it.
Yes.
It looks more like it has a medieval kind of vibe to it, with like dragons and.
Yeah, the dragon is what really caught me.
Yeah, I mean it's Final Fantasy. It's kind of like Final Fantasy meets,
Elden Ring?
Game of Thrones, kind of thing. To me, that's what it looks like to me. That's interesting.
One thing I did see people were talking about is, I guess, no longer turn-based style of Final Fantasy is like. I mean, it hasn't really been a thing for a while, but I guess it's officially dead. Like there's no more. You're no longer gonna see turn-based, Final Fantasy. And what was weird about the trailer, from what I saw, is like every battle had like fighting game health bars on the top, which I found interesting. That's so I don't know if it plays like a fighting game when you go into battles, but I didn't realize they had that aesthetic, which was kind of strange to me for a Final Fantasy game.
I agree, but from what I saw, like when the trailer started, I was like, okay, and I see it's Square Enix, but first I was thinking Final Fantasy, but like this doesn't look like Final Fantasy to me. Yeah. But when the title screen came up, I was like, okay,
it definitely is.
Definitely is.
Yep.
Looks dope.
Yeah. And let's see. And then Multiverses
looks good. I mean,
I really like the animation and the colors.
When I first heard about it, I was like, okay, it's gonna be another one of those Smash-like games that's probably gonna fall off. But this one looks pretty solid. I mean, you can tell a lot of work is going into it, and like you said, like the animations are like all the characters are very well animated. I'll definitely give them that.
And very well thought up too.
Yeah, like so far, like Tom and Jerry look so interesting.
Tom and Jerry.
There's
Tom
like
and Jerry
those two characters.
Yeah.
Because
like all their attacks is like him trying to hit Jerry,
hammer, right?
But he like when you're hitting the other person, you know what I mean? So it's super interesting, and it's just an interesting art style. But it's also possible for him to, like, for Jerry to die. Like you can throw Jerry off the edge or something like that, and Tom can be without Jerry and still have his moves. So I thought that was interesting too as well. Like it's possible for him to lose Jerry. So
interesting.
Yeah, that's
definitely a lot of work.
I don't know if you saw what's his name, Finn from Adventure Time.
Game.
His moveset looks very interesting. Like he can pull up a whole shop and buy items. Like as you're fighting, you're earning money, and then you can like in the middle of battle, pull up a shop, buy items, and items you buy increase your stats until you die. It's so interesting. Like that game has like the most unique characters I've seen in a Smash-like game ever. So they're definitely doing something right, and the fact that everybody has their own voices and everything,
The original voice actors,
as opposed to for instance, a Nickelodeon game which decided not to go that route. And the Nickelodeon game, I mean, I thought it would have been cool. A lot of nice cast of characters, but I think it's safe to say this game has officially fell off.
I heard much about it for a while. So, but yeah, Multiverses looks like it's gonna be pretty dope. And it's one of those games like if they continue on the path, they just have a whole slew of characters that they can just pull from.
Yeah.
Like in the future, I can see like a Joker coming out as a character.
Right.
That'll be dope.
And you know the best part about that game? It's free.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think free games are really starting to make an impact.
Yeah.
It's changing the way games are being made.
Yeah, developers just have to come up with a way to still make your money on the back end.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
But free is definitely a way because most people at least give it a try if it's free.
Mm-hmm.
If it's free, like, all right, I'll check it out. You know what I mean? You have nothing to lose.
Exactly.
You're putting your game in more people's hands. So,
and if it's a hit and if it's good, then most people are gonna play it, and then you get your money on the back end via battle pass or cosmetic items that are cool or whatever. And this game does have multiple skins too as well. Like the Shaggy, I saw Shaggy wearing a full-on suit. And different, outfits.
And apparently each skin has like different voice lines and different voices as well.
Oh yeah?
Man, they did a lot of work, huh?
They put a lot of work into that game.
Shaggy can go Ultra Instinct.
It's so weird to see a meme become part of the game, which makes me think it's only a matter of time before we see Chungus. It's only a matter of time.
You think we're going to see Chungus?
I 100% think we're going to see Chungus. I don't know if he's going to be a DLC.
You know what Chungus is?
I actually don't. That's what I was like.
There's a
Have you ever seen a fat Bugs Bunny?
Yeah.
That's Chungus.
That's Bugs Bunny.
So
there's a terrible video he came from, and him twerking. It's disgusting, but that's where he made his debut. But if they put Chungus in the game, that'll be interesting.
That'll be hilarious to me. I mean, if it's DLC, people are gonna buy it. 100% people are gonna eat it up. People are gonna spend that money.
Yeah, meme and pop culture becoming, make its way into games. It's kind of cool.
Fortnite, take the cake on that one.
100%.
Speaking of Fortnite, I know you're a very avid Fortnite player.
Yes, indeed.
And I was blessed to witness it for myself. He's actually really, really good. Tell us, what is it about Fortnite that keeps you coming back to it?
What keeps me coming back? I think one thing I'll say for sure is Fortnite themselves, Epic Games, the company, they definitely listen to their community. If there's something wrong with the game and they know that it's busted or that it needs to be fixed, they're on that ASAP. So that's one great thing that I love about Fortnite, because if they never listened, I think a lot of people, a lot of pros would have quit the game already. Another thing too, again, even from when it first dropped, it's probably the most unique battle royale ever. I mean, you could argue Apex is very unique in its own way too, right?
I would agree that Fortnite is the most unique.
But yeah, I think Fortnite is the most unique because of the aspect of building. And now there's no building, so they did a twist. Yeah. So it's such a great thing to see that, especially since more old players came back to the game now. Also, I mean, even though I've said that now that a lot of the things that are pointing in the game are not unique anymore, they're bringing in Marvel characters, DC, Star Wars. I mean, Darth Vader's in the battle pass now.
Yeah.
It's that kind of irked me a little bit, but it's great to see that. Because when you look at it from a business side of things, you're gonna get some money.
Yep.
You're gonna get some bang from that.
Yeah, I mean, my brother and I, we always refer to Fortnite as being, I don't know if you ever watched the movie Ready Player One.
Right, you mentioned it actually.
Yeah, Fortnite is 100% that. Just all-star cast of everybody.
Yep.
You
want to play Iron Man? He said, you want to play Naruto? Get a shotgun, you play Naruto. In Fortnite.
Yep.
Well, Naruto with guns, so it's kind of like, yeah.
Yeah, like that doesn't even look right.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
A lot of people were pretty upset about it.
Yeah, but
So it's kind of like,
to me, Superman with gun was the one that did it for me.
For you,
Superman, why would Superman need a gun? You know what I mean? But
yeah, I mean, you want these characters in the game, but you gotta consider the
you gotta play
the gameplay of the game. You know what I mean?
You gotta play the game by the rules. So
yep.
It would be cool if they found alternative ways to play, like, but it'd be kind of hard to balance, I guess, if you will. For example, if Superman could just fly at will and throw punches instead of
broken.
Exactly.
Yeah, that happened.
Because then now you change the entire dynamic of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Well,
building isn't already a lot. Yeah. Also, it's a very great esport to watch, in my opinion. Like, I remember back in 2019 when they had the first World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
It was such a great experience to. I mean, obviously I wasn't there, but I watched it online.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. The different things they had, like the solo tournaments, the creative death run tournaments, the duos. It was great.
Yeah.
Like, imagine the World Cup winner, Booga,
Mm-hmm.
winning $3 million.
That changed his life forever.
Exactly. Like,
that was the most inspirational thing I've ever seen.
And he's like, man, he's one of my favorites of all time. I dream to experience something like that. I would cry on the stage all day.
Snotty nose ball.
Yeah, yeah.
Me too.
Ugly face, everything was just balling it up.
$3 million, bro. Like,
from playing video games, And it was also was it him or was another kid, from South America or something, and his dad was cheering him on or whatever, and then they won. For how much they won? They won a good chunk of money too, but it was like, just I think they were showing like some behind the scenes of like them celebrating, and it was like that's like more money than than they could ever make back home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like from playing video games, it's like such a
wholesome feeling.
A concept that people just don't understand. Like, doesn't even make sense to people. It's like, how is that even a thing, or how is that real? Yeah. Which leads me to one of the things that where I'm trying to figure out. I'm working on the details, but I want to open up some avenues here in the Virgin Islands for esports and for kids that want to make a living playing video games. Like, I want to open up that avenue in some way, shape, or form, and just blow people's minds. Like, people like there. I think there's a lot of talent on island, and I think you are one of them. Of people that can play the game at a high level, at a very high respectable level, and I think those talents should be compensated in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
It's just a matter of somebody taking the effort and figuring it out. And I think if it has to be, it's gonna have to be us. So
if anyone can do it, it's us, sir.
So we just gotta. It's just a matter of I mean, I had a couple of ideas in my mind, but I have to make it make sense. But I think it's possible, and I think the Virgin Islands would be a lot better for it because to think that you could take a kid off the street, away from the other ills of life, and put them in an environment where they can actually accomplish something with their
do something that they actually
do something
love.
constructive with something that they love. You know what I mean?
Enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
I think it's a tremendous thing, and I think even if we could find someone to even get one person to experience that, you know what I mean? I think we've done our jobs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's one thing to make a living, but it's another thing to make a living doing what you actually enjoy doing. And and that's one thing that when we first started, this whole journey that we had, that was always our end goal, is to like, how can we make a living with video games?
Something we love doing.
Yep. And I think what's great too is it'll be a great way to get gaming recognized as
as a career.
Mm-hmm. And you can look at it just like sports, regular sports.
Mm-hmm.
Sports is a big thing, I'll say, down here. Especially with the recent basketball tournament.
Yeah.
And it was great, and I want to see games represented like that too, you know. And it's like it'll be great too because you can get a lot of pairs to come together for once, that can actually feel comfortable, come to these events that are just mainly about gaming. And just have a great time.
Yep, like minds and people in that space that don't usually get a chance to experience any of that. Like I mean, even for us, like we got a lot of inspiration to do more tournaments when we went over to Puerto Rico, and we got to see we got to meet pro gamers. We get to see tournaments being happen. Like official Capcom tournaments, and
on a big scale, yeah.
On a large scale, it was very inspiring.
It actually had a lot of inspiration with us even starting the lounge. Actually, just going over there and seeing that, and like it was just so many like minds. It's like you just felt at home. And that kind of environment is what we always wanted to bring to the lounge. And I think
everyone's doing everything at a high level too. Like.
Yeah, there was multiple tournaments going on. There was multiple vendors who were selling merch that people actually want because it's all video game related, anime related, and I'm hoping that that's what people feel when they come through our doors is like, okay, this is like home. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think we have accomplished that because one thing I've noticed about people that come to the lounge, they have no problem just going in a corner and just catching some Z's. People feel safe enough to sleep like
all the time.
I don't see myself going anywhere in public and just saying, let me go this place and go sleep. You know what I mean?
But you're not going to chicken and bowl and
I'm gonna catch some Z's, but but people do that here all the time. People will come here on their lunch break or whatever and just park up in a corner and just catch some Z's. They feel that safe, and I'm hoping that I'm correct in the way I'm thinking, like that they feel that safe here, that they know that nothing is gonna happen to them. People have left valuables here, and they know it's gonna be here when they get back. And I just hope we're creating that environment, that family environment. This is your home away from home.
Yeah,
definitely.
I think so. I think we're definitely onto something here with the lounge and everything, and it's definitely it's growing like we mentioned before, and I'd love to see it continue to do that, and that's what we do with a bigger space eventually, at some point in the future.
Yeah,
I think we can do more with more, but right now we're doing a pretty good job with what we have, I think.
Yeah. Only thing with a bigger space, I don't know, it might lose that coziness though, but yeah,
we'll see. Well, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Video games is life.
Definitely, man.
And with that, I think we're gonna do a shorter version of our Fight Talk segment.
Yeah, because the last card wasn't a bad. I mean, it was an okay card.
It was an okay card, but I mean, there's not a whole lot to talk about on the UFC side. And like we mentioned last week, UFC cards lately have been, a little lackluster. I mean, it's not to say that there wasn't good fights on them.
Mm-hmm.
It's just there's not a lot of star power. Without the star power, it's not really pulling the interest that it usually does.
True.
Even from veterans like ourselves, we're fighting all our time, sticking around for the whole card or watching the whole card consistently. You know what I mean?
And like we mentioned earlier, I actually enjoyed watching boxing this weekend.
We did enjoy
which we weren't planning to. There was a boxing fight with gosh, I forgot the names.
But before we go into the boxing,
while
we're still on the MMA side, I mean, I'll just briefly mention, the main event, Volkov versus Rosenstruik. If you don't know by now, Rosenstruik got knocked out in the first round. Yeah,
which
he's definitely on the decline.
Definitely on the decline, and he's one of those guys that came in because he has high level striking.
Mm-hmm.
He's a high level kickboxer, but he never took the time to one, improve his game,
mm-hmm.
two, add grappling to him. I think if he add grappling, he would be a lot better off.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe it's too late because of his age,
mm-hmm.
and because he has so many, he's so comfortable in the stand-up. But even so, his stand-up isn't. It's still not the best.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just more for a focus on power.
Mm-hmm.
I find so.
There's that. Other than UFC though, I just happened to be chilling one night and I got a notification on my phone that Icon FC was doing a show, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I realized that there's a Virgin Islander on the card.
Mm-hmm.
And it's someone that I follow on Facebook because when I found out about him, I was like, I didn't even know this guy existed, but he is a professional fighter that's a Virgin Islander. And he's not the first, because there's others out there. There was another one that we knew of. I think he at least made it to Bellator, I think he was. But I haven't heard much of him since. But this guy, his name is Carl Williams, was on the card. And I was like, oh, perfect. I can actually see him fight because I've always known him. I follow him on Facebook, and I always wondered what his skill set would be. And I watched the fight, and sure enough, he's actually pretty good. I was thoroughly impressed with his fighting. He looked comfortable in the stand-up, but he's definitely a wrestler. And he can ragdoll people pretty good.
Good.
With the best of them. And just seeing that, it made me think that I realized that there's not a lot of people that know of him. Because not only, there's not a lot of people that know of him, but like even when they're interviewing him and everything, he was like big up the Virgin Islands. Every time they put a mic in front of him, he was, talking about the Virgin Islands and trying to big it up. And
nobody here knows him.
And nobody here knows him. And I was like, that doesn't slide with me. I don't think that's cool at all.
It's not a good look.
That's not you know what I mean? I was like, this guy is representing the Virgin Islands and is not being compensated for his work, in my opinion. So I saw him. I sent him a message on Facebook. I'm like, we need to talk. We need to figure something out. And I'm gonna try to get him in touch with the right people. Mm-hmm. I don't even want any compensation for it or anything. I just wanna see him do well. Mm-hmm. Because if the Virgin Islands can, do this whole Aaliyah Boston Day and parade her around like the best thing in the Virgin Islands, and
rightfully so.
And rightfully so, because she earned it. Mm-hmm. But she's not even a professional athlete yet. Mm. Meanwhile, you have this guy who's a professional athlete. He mentions the Virgin Islands every time you put a mic in front of him. He walked out with the flag and everything, and is not being recognized by his own island. That doesn't sit right with me at all.
Yeah, because I guess an island on a whole, it's not really a pro MMA island. They're more into boxing because of the Jacksons and everything. So when people think about MMA, I mean, I don't toot our own horn, but most people think about
us, which is a strange. I was like, if people ask, if someone was asked a random person who's a local MMA fighter, they'd probably mention us. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, we never fought a professional fight. We fought amateur, but not professional. Yeah. Meanwhile, there's a professional athlete on, it was on UFC Fight Pass, mm-hmm. And he himself said, he had to tell his family teach them how to download Fight Pass and so they can watch his fight. I'm like, this is not a good look for the Virgin Islands. Like, if you're saying you have to teach them to download a streaming platform, is like make us sound like a bunch of idiots. But you gotta be careful how you're saying that, sir. But I was like, it's sad that people don't even know who he is, and he's a professional fighter. Mm-hmm. He's the co-main event of that card, and I think that shouldn't be. I think he needs his due.
Most definitely, and it's probably a good thing that you reached out to him because since most people, when they think of MMA, they think of us. Mm-hmm. Now we can now reflect that back on him.
Back on him, yes. And that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to get him in touch with the Board of Tourism. Mm-hmm. I want to get him in touch with what's that? There's another board that Board of Festivals or something like that. I want to get in touch with those people and just try to see if they can work something out where they can get, because his shorts didn't have any sponsors on them. I'm like, that shouldn't be. There's so many Virgin Islands companies that could sponsor this guy. You know what I mean? Yeah. When we fought amateur, we had sponsors on our shorts. And he's a professional fighter. He doesn't have sponsors on his shorts. I'm like, who's his representation?
Yeah, like he probably doesn't have any representation. Probably just representing himself. He doesn't know how to do or what to do.
That's why I need to be in touch. I need to get in touch with this guy. And I don't even want any compensation. I just want to see him do it. I just want to see him recognized. Yeah. And I'll feel good with that. If you want to throw me a couple bucks, I'll take it. I mean, I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna take it. I'm gonna, Bill's gotta be
maybe
big.
We can even sponsor him. Put VIVN on
the
shorts.
That's actually what I thought. I was like, could you imagine if you had VIVN on his shorts? I was like, what is VIVN? And then, brand recognition, But
there you go.
Yeah. It's not like we have money just sitting around where we can just throw out sponsorship. If you want to do a free sponsorship, by all means, But
we could figure something out.
Figure out some kind of compensation, right?
Yeah, I'm sure we can. But yeah, man. But the boxing fight I was talking about, of course, was Kambosos versus Haney.
Mm-hmm.
which was even though it was one of the fight I was looking forward to seeing, I did enjoy watching it while we were there because, like we said before earlier, we had some people just call us up and like, hey, you guys showing this fight? Because I guess they heard about the us doing the UFC fights. I was like, no, but we could, and it was a good group, and they came through, and I said, yeah, we'll come through and we'll support, and it was a ton of fun.
It was a ton of fun.
They came through. They brought beer. We we got free beer.
We got free beer out of it, and they tipped pretty well.
They tipped very well.
They tipped better than.
So shout out to those guys.
They tipped better than UFC group.
They actually
not to put anybody on blast, but not that we need the tips or anything. It's just it's just a good show of thank you, appreciation, and
they tipped very well.
They definitely appreciated that we did the fights for him, and
and it was a good time all around, and they enjoyed themselves a lot, and they said they'll definitely be back.
Mm-hmm.
Even not just for the fights, but even just regularly, because now I think everyone except for one person there
was their first time
seeing the lounge. Mm-hmm. Everyone there was their first time,
and they loved the ambiance and loved everything about it.
And even talked about doing some events here and different things.
Yeah, they want to do some events.
They want to do events, want to do birthday parties. They just love the space. So all around good vibes. So it was good. I enjoyed last weekend. And
do you watch any combat sports at all?
No, I don't.
Yeah, to each his own. But there's definitely you can find inspiration in combat sports. There's a lot of interesting storylines that come up every now and again. Not everyone, but every now and again. Mm-hmm. And if you're not doing anything for the next UFC, I would definitely invite you to the next UFC watch party. If you're
it's usually a good time, especially when there's high stakes.
When there's high stakes and there's a lot of people in the room, even if you're not a fight fan, you can find something to enjoy.
Yeah. Nothing like a good old fight. Mm-hmm. But I think with that will bring this episode to an end. Barring any hiccups, this one will be on full force. We do appreciate you coming through. I know you had a good time. We definitely had a good time having you on. Yep. And like we said before, feel free to come back anytime. Before we head out, anyone you want to shout out before we turn these equipment off?
Gotta shout out my brother Koi.
Yep. Shout out to brother Koi.
Of course.
Who's a regular here at the lounge.
Yep. He's the one who got me into gaming, like I said before. Mm-hmm. And I want to shout out my little org or team. We just go by Elite, so I really want to shout them out.
Shout out to those guys.
Yeah, they're supporting me and always there for whenever we need to run some games up.
There you go.
Yep. That's pretty much it.
It's funny, everybody has their own little group, and funny how every group has a name.
Yeah. We were even kind of thinking of changing the name a little bit, but we haven't gotten around to it yet.
It's a good name. If it works, it works.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's it. Oh, before we go, shout out to Serenity. That's don't ask, but I'm shouting out Serenity. You don't know who that is? Well, you do know who that is. I know it sounds weird.
I don't know who that is.
It's not. I assure you, it's not a stripper.
Because that's what it sounds like to me. I'm like, oh boy,
I'll tell you who it is after. But she's actually a new sub on the YouTube. So it's
shout out
Sophia's mother.
Oh, shout out, Serenity. Thank you for
I know it sounded weird when I just threw the name out. I explained myself. So with that, you guys continue to be good to each other. Stay safe out there. IsaacBoyz out.
Peace.